I'm Sammy James. This is Full-Time live from the old Suffolk Punch. I imagine he's in a bad mood. His name's Benjamin.
Yeah, I'm Benjamin in a very, very bad mood.
Farrell, are you in a bad mood?
Not as bad as Ben because we won today, so as in...
Fulhamish five-a-side won today before you think he's a Bristol City fan. Right, we're going to look at Fulham's 2-1 defeats today at the Cottage, at the hands of Bristol City, and for once a very different Jeremy was in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons today. Jeremy Simpson, the referee. Ben, we might as well start at the end of the match because it's the event that everyone wants to talk about. Niskins Cabano, his legs are pretty much swiped from underneath him, and for some reason it's not given as a penalty. We should be here discussing a valiant 2-2 draw.
It is a Stonewall penalty, as Stonewall of a penalty you could ever see in professional football. Literally just, Cabano's cut across his man, he's about to pull the ball back and his legs get taken from underneath him. The Bristol City player stops completely, expecting the referee to blow, and he doesn't. Play goes on and the Bristol City clear the ball outside the stadium. It's pathetic. The refereeing standard at the end of this game was shambolic. I've seen better on a five-a-side pitch on a Sunday.
I've never been so fuming about a refereeing performance. This is going back a few years. Mark Halsey, 2004.
Yeah,
I think that's nearly the level of what it was.
Yeah, it was pretty, like, all the way through the game. There were certain times where, yeah, he was given the right decision, but that was kind of like few and far between. You know, sometimes you get like one bad call and it can really spark something, but this seemed to be like a routine, kind of like 50-50 whether, you know, a decision was going to go our way or not, or, you know, was actually going to be the right decision at all. And from then, like, all his game management went out the window. The players lost respect for him. And he wasn't able to have, like, every decision was then questioned. And to be honest, like, as you saw, there was 5 yellow cards in injury time at the end. And, you know, the players got to take some blame, but I think the referee's got to take some blame as well.
Well, I think players are going to always lose their heads in that situation, aren't they? They've been denied a point, a comeback, a way out of a bit of a nightmare situation that we found ourselves in. We were 2-0 down fairly late in the game, and once again slow on a Saturday at 3 o'clock. There seems to be something about playing in the day that I don't know why. It just seems we can't seem to play it this time.
Fulham's first half was absolutely diabolical. We just played into the hands of Bristol City over and over again. Bristol City packed the middle of the park, they stifled Tom Kearney, they stifled Johansson, and then whenever we tried to play the ball wide, they just were relentlessly attacking the fullbacks. We had absolutely no chance to assert ourselves in that first half. Everything that Fulham do as a team, philosophy-wise, pass the ball, rotate the play, move from side to side, completely stifled by Bristol City. They had a really big tactical edge, and then when they did counter, they'd done something with the ball. They were direct, they passed it quickly. Everything Fulham didn't do in that first half, and they deserved their lead.
Were you surprised not to see Kamara in the lineup again? It was obviously good against Swansea. We know what he did against QPR and to an extent Derby. Onuma got the nod at number 10. I was really surprised also to see Knockout back in the side, who really hasn't impressed either. I just feel like Scott needlessly tinkered there.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that, because obviously I've not been exactly Abubakar Kamara's biggest fan in the world, but he played well last time out at Swansea. He certainly deserved to keep his place, and you're quite right in saying I don't think the other AK has actually performed that well recently.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to see that tinker. You know, we should have started with the same team. You know, against Swansea the performance wasn't amazing, but we went there, we got the 3 points, and we performed very well. But so it's surprising to have that change of system.
Just on those two introductions, Anthony Knockout, Fulhamish asked for their player ratings at the end of the game. I couldn't physically give Knockout more than 2. He was rubbish, absolutely terrible. His decision making was really poor. He didn't pass the ball. Yeah, he tracked back a little bit.
That was the only good part of his game.
It's the only part of the game he did well today. He didn't get his head up at all. And then Onuma, you sort of know that within him there's a little bit more, but he just doesn't give it. It's like his legs are just made of pure wood. They just don't move.
I liked someone's tweet. I'm sorry I forgot your name, but it was Josh Onuma gave a masterclass in how not to be available for the ball today.
Yeah.
Just at every moment, he's anonymous.
Yeah. I find that with him, he just doesn't suit the system that we play in, especially against teams like Bristol City today, who aren't a sit back and defend type team, but they did that game plan today and it worked very well for them. And, you know, with such tight space and not much able to sort of like play intricate play, Onoma wasn't the man to do that. You know, you need a Tom Kearney in there. You probably need someone with a bit more energy. I think Onoma, when he tried to sort of like do something out of the ordinary, it just didn't work for him. He just didn't offer enough. And you know, the three central midfielders, Masenga for them had a wonderful game for them. He stifled everything. And whenever they won the ball back, he was able to like just drop the shoulder a little bit and create that extra space. And Onoma just couldn't live with him. I was screaming. I was saying to friends of mine at half time that we should probably Kamara's the man to bring on.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't do that. Surprised he didn't do that at half time, and certainly didn't do it earlier, because you could see the way the game was going, and unfortunately it ended that way.
There were a few key moments really that did hinge the game, other than the penalty, which will ultimately be what this game is remembered for. The first goal, I felt like Brownhill just had too much space in there. Ream and Bryan again, the weak side of that defence. Dennis Adoy actually does quite well in the first instance.
To flick it away.
To defend a dangerous cross. He does have a lot of time to put that cross back in, but Joe or Tim, one of them's got to be seeing that run.
100%, but like you say, in the build-up, Dennis Adoy does well to flick it away, but then the follow-up to stop that cross coming in is way too slow. Knockout essentially just watches him put the ball back in, and so does Adoy, and it's not good enough. And then I actually thought Josh Brownhill had a really good game for them. He was excellent, but like you say, too much time at the back. And Joe Bryan, I love him, but I wish he'd just check his shoulders more often, because he gets done too often at the back post.
Yeah, annoyingly for me with what happened there, Dennis Adoy does a world-class defensive header in a sense that he manages to defend it whilst also not knocking it out for either a throw-in or a corner. But I'd have much rather a throw-in or a corner in that situation. Like, it's sometimes I think Fulham do this in order to avoid a throw-in. We sometimes give away the ball into quite dangerous areas, and like, okay, I get that, try and protect the ball at all costs at all time, keep it in play, but also sometimes just stick it out.
Well, it's a lack of conviction, if you can put something on it. Something that basically, you know, Mawson and Ream certainly, you know, don't have. They've got lots of conviction. You can see every time they tackle, every time they head the ball, it goes far and it's strong and it puts the other players off. Adoy, not necessarily. I really like Dennis Adoy. I think he's had a fantastic second win for our club, especially recently. Today wasn't his best game, to be honest. Bryan on the other side defensively was a bit shaky, but he was probably our biggest attacking poacher.
Yeah, Joe Bryan was fine.
Yeah, Joe Bryan, like, to be honest, a lot of his crosses today were absolutely magnificent. But to be honest, Baker and Williams just dealt with them every single time.
Yeah, they were excellent in the air today, both of them. It's like there was a magnet in the ball, it just found their forehead every single time.
I don't think Joe Bryan could have done any
good.
more.
And Mitro was stifled, really, wasn't he? He was not allowed to have an inch against them, and fair play. The other key moment, I won't come to you because you were still at the bar. Anthony Knockaert's missed chance at the beginning of the second half. I think it's an absolute game changer. And I knew he wasn't going to score that.
Yeah,
he didn't look confident.
It's an excellent ball through to him in the first instance. I think it's from Tom Kearney. It's weighted absolutely excellently. And then it's almost like he overran the ball. He ran too fast for the ball. His legs literally just couldn't get in touch. If he would have waited a little half second before taking that extra touch and waited for Bentley to commit himself, that was a certain goal.
Do you know what? A moment that it reminded me of last season, and a player who nailed that situation as opposed to Knockaert. Babel.
Ryan Babel.
Scored a goal against Everton. I think Everton? Might be wrong, pretty sure. And he dinks it over Jordan Pickford from memory. And I remember at the time thinking, you've overrun this, you've overrun this, you've overrun this.
No, but he didn't.
Babel had the noose to, like, actually, in that split second,
to read the situation.
Produce some quality. Knockaert just smacked it. And hope for the best.
Yeah, and it was behind him. He just didn't take stock. He didn't give himself half a second just to calm down. I think this is fundamentally what is wrong with Knockaert. He tries to do everything at 100 miles an hour, and he can't think. Like, if you ever look at him on the ball, his feet are doing so much, but his mind's doing nothing. And then he ends up doing nothing himself.
It kind of reminds me how Abubakar Kamara when he first started playing for Fulham. Like, he's just too quick. He's just so eager to sort of like make a difference and make an impact. But his mind can't keep up with how quick his legs are. And you can see how much more composed Kamara is now, and his decision making because of it has just, gone from 1 to, 10.
Which I think now makes Kamara a dangerous player. We always knew he had the raw attributes, the speed, the pace, some trickery, strength. Now he seems to have a brain. That's a pretty lethal weapon.
Unfortunately, as we've seen a few times this year, coming off the bench for him isn't really his game. with Parker's team at the moment. I think his real sort of, when he's actually performed quite well, is actually from the start.
Yeah.
Dare I say it? You know, I think that Kamara has actually sort of warranted a place in this team. You know, maybe because other people aren't performing as well, but you know, we've seen he's now had 2 starts and 2 wins.
Yeah, exactly. And also came on, got a goal. That was a good finish. There was lots of bodies. And one last player I wanted to talk about who came off the bench and really did make an impact.
Yep.
Niskins Cabano. We talked about him for the penalty. Obviously, he played an instrumental role in the goal itself, and at the end, leapt like a salmon to hit the bar. The forgotten man.
Yeah.
Actually, provides a different option off the bench. Whenever AK and Cavallero are overhitting crosses into the side stands, I'd like to see him a bit more.
Yeah, I think he made a really positive impact when he came on. He took the game to Bristol City and he really attacked their defenders, which is something that we didn't really do, although we did have Cavallero knockout. They didn't actually get at the defenders all that often. And Cabano was nice and direct. He put some really good balls in as well. It was a good threat. It's nice that they've somehow got him out of a cupboard at Motspur Park and just plonked him on the bench occasionally.
Yeah.
That's quite nice. I'm still firmly of the opinion we sold the wrong winger this summer, and Aite should still be playing, but it was really encouraging from Cabano, and maybe we'll start seeing him a little bit more throughout this really busy Christmas period.
When looking at the impacts of the league table, we still are in 3rd. Obviously, Forest failed to get 3 points yesterday at Millwall late on, but Leeds got a victory earlier. You'd imagine West Brom will go on and win later this weekend. There now is becoming a sizable gap, and there's 3 tough games coming up. So this league has got so much more football to run, but those top 2 are now starting to get away, aren't they? And it's going to be an almighty effort for us to actually close them down.
It's an almighty effort, but I do think this team is capable of actually doing. You know, it's like when Savisa we were hunting down the top 2 and or getting to the playoffs the year before as well. That we just got to concentrate on our own results and not worry about what everyone else is doing. Let's take it week by week, game by game, get the win. We don't really care about what else is going on.
Yeah.
You know, this team are very capable of winning. You know, Bristol City are a good team. They are just below us in the league. Let's not forget that. And they're not there by accident. They've got a very good team. They obviously
they'll now be thinking maybe they can have a bit of a push at it. Everyone was kind of starting to cut it off as a 3-horse race. I think maybe Bristol City are thinking, well, lads.
Well, obviously, Leeds and West Brom are on a fantastic run at the moment. Especially Leeds have like a knack of obviously scoring late winners and late draws, which is bloody annoying.
Yeah.
But you know, all it takes is one loss, and hopefully against Fulham at the Cottage next week.
I mean, that is just boiling down to be a massive game, and 3 massive games coming up. I'm genuinely terrified about all of them.
Yeah, me too. I think today left me a little bit more. I'd say like glass half full than I was before today. We had 4 good wins, and then today I thought it was a really good chance for us to stamp our authority on that 3rd place and really send out a message to the rest of the league to say we're coming. And it didn't really ever amount to anywhere near a win for us today. I thought we came up really short, and it has left me a little bit worried for these games, especially the one coming up against Leeds. Preston aren't a bad side. They're very, very well disciplined. They played some good football under Alex Neil, and we're going to really need to dig deep if we're going to come home with 2 or 3 wins out of these next 3 games. It's 3 really dangerous teams.
Carry on.
I was just going to say, we really need to clear the physio room. It's starting to really stack up.
Yeah.
And I think today actually highlights that. We are
both of the Reeds. Arta is in there.
Basically, if it wasn't for the centre, the pivot roles all being out, McDonald is apparently now out as well.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, probably Onuma would come out.
Is that following the Stockholm trip?
Quite possibly. He might be
ending his career, actually.
He might be still in a hotel room somewhere.
I think his legs are still in Vegas from 3 years ago, so God knows what Stockholm's like.
But yeah, I was just going to say, it's probably the reason why we're not today wasn't as good as it could have been, because you put in like a Harrison Reed or an Arta or a McDonald in the base of the midfield, and then all of a sudden it opens up Kearney to play further forward, which probably would have been his game today as opposed to.
And also you put in a Bobby Decordova-Reid in there, who might have had the trickery to unlock a tight Bristol City side at times against his old club as well. Yeah, the injuries are mounting up and it's looking difficult, and it's not going to get any easier for Fulham. Lots of games coming up in the week. Preston on Tuesday, and then I'm dreading Brentford on Saturday. Let's be honest, we all are. But fingers crossed we can go there and get a famous win at our last ever trip to Griffin Park. Final thoughts then. It's dominated by that ref performance, isn't it? Really.
It really is, yeah. I can't really say what I want to about the ref on here because we'll just be taken out by YouTube. So it was just a little bit of a dreadful performance from all parties concerned. I'm a little bit concerned for Fulham, but I think there are a few bright spots. This referee, on the other hand, probably won't have a job next week.
Yes, and Farrell, are you still optimistic that we're going to, have a good Christmas period and the next and results are going to pick up from here and it's just a blip, or are you worried about the next 3 games?
I think it is just a blip. We came up against a Bristol City team. Let's not be disrespectful to them. They've got full of talent. Jeju is obviously he's very good.
A great game.
Yeah, great game for him today. They did it. They tactically outmuscled Scott Parker, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I think it is just a blip. We've seen what this Fulham team are capable of. We've seen them roll over teams. We've seen them battle out wins much better than we have done at this stage of the season. In the 2 big seasons that we had previously. So we've got our 23 unbeaten run to come.
Can't wait for that. Well, thanks for watching today. We're here every single game after home matches at the Old Southern Punch, giving our live instant reviews to matches. So thank you for watching. Thanks to Benjamin.
Thank you very much.
Are you in a better mood?
Yeah, slightly.
Are you in a better mood, Farrell Monk?
Yeah.
I'm still in a terrible one. See you later. Take care. Bye, you whites.